what you see behind me there is the old Carson City, Nevada State Building. Now, Nevada has been a symbol of truth, justice, and the American way since the old Wild West. This is the state where they used to hang horse thieves. And that's a pretty warm, inviting building, right? You wouldn't mind going in there. Well, what I'm going to talk to you about today is about how to be your own lawyer. So we want to go across the street and take a look at the courthouse. Now, by contrast, take a look at the old courthouse. They got some purple ribbons up there for a Halloween celebration, but I mean, talk about a depressing, gray, dreary building, intimidating. There's a typical courthouse right there. I mean, I got to tell you, just sitting on the steps in front of this Gothic old building, you understand why nobody in their right mind would ever want to willingly walk through those doors. Now, I travel a lot globally, and generally speaking, I think our criminal court system is still in pretty good shape. I think you have a good shot at justice in a criminal court system. The civil court system, the American civil court system, is another matter entirely, and it is a mess. Our civil court system has evolved to nothing more than a contest of the wills and mostly who has the most money. Now, in civil court, you can't use the excuse that you don't have enough money for an attorney. If you are sued, you either have to hire an attorney or represent yourself or walk away and possibly get a default judgment. I strongly suggest that you take a serious look at representing yourself. Now, in my lifetime, I've probably gone through, I don't know, a dozen civil court proceedings. And out of a dozen, I have represented myself 4 times, and I won 3 out of 4. Now, it was Abraham Lincoln that said, I think, that whoever represents himself has a fool for an attorney. Well, I would say yes in the criminal court system because you're looking at possible jail time. But in civil court, I would think serious about representing yourself. Someone told me recently that 75% or some vast majority of all the civil court cases filed in the United States are dropped because one person runs out of money. Now, does that sound like an equitable system to you? I don't think so. There are several reasons why you should represent yourself. Number one, many people file, if you are being sued by somebody else, many people file a lawsuit, not because they want justice, but because they want you to roll over. They want something from you. They have more money than you do, and they think they can overpower you and with their money, and most of the time they do. Or because you have to go and hire, or what they can do is you do hire an attorney at $300 an hour plus all the fees, associated fees, and they essentially drain you dry. Now, one of the reasons that I'm doing this video, now in part 2, we're actually going to talk about my personal lawsuit that I'm involved in. Now, what I want to do is just to give you an idea of what you're up against when you do try to, when you walk through these doors and you answer a lawsuit, or if you possibly are trying to sue someone else. This is from my lawsuit. I am being sued. This is what I would call a frivolous, predatory lawsuit. I'm an investigative journalist, and I'm exposing fraud, deception, illegal activity within a business, and they don't like that. They want to shut me up, so they filed this lawsuit to shut me up. But and I'm representing myself. Let me give you just one example of what you had to deal with. This is one clause. This is their definition of the word document. Now, Webster's dictionary is maybe 5-6 words to define the word document. Their definition is, the term document shall be interpreted in its broadest sense and shall mean the original and every non-identical copy of every paper or other record, regardless of origin or location, whether sent or received or made or used internally in whatever form, subject to your possession, custody, or control, prepared by you, including without limitation, type for handwritten materials, communication, messages, telephone bills, telephone logs, expense accounts, voicemails, messages, letters, daily log or daily correspondence, postcards, memoranda. This goes on for half a page to define one word. Let me go a little bit further here where it gets even more absurd. But what we're dealing with here is the language of civil court law. It's not written for you. You're the one that's supposed to get justice, but the language is not written for you. So how are you going to deal with that? Here's another one that's just amazingly absurd here. Where is it? The following rules of construction shall apply to these document requests. They're just giving the definition, defining words within this massive document here. Here they are, the use of the word and. The use of the word and shall include the disjunctive, and the use of the word or shall include the conjunctive. I didn't even know that conjunctive was a word. And the use of the singular form of any word shall include the plural and vice versa. You know, you'd have to hire a professional to make any sense out of that whatsoever. So here's what you're going to need if you decide to either defend yourself or file your own lawsuit. And it can be done. And I'm not going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to fight and how to win in part 2. One of the things that the other guys' attorneys are going to try to do, especially if you're representing yourself, they are going to try to wear you out with paperwork and just burn up your time with pleadings and motions. And the other thing that you're going to need, that is the primary focus of this video, is you're going to need a retired attorney who does internet work. Internet counseling. Now, this is becoming more and more popular. Many retired attorneys, for whatever reason, or some existing attorneys. Actually, the attorney that I'm dealing with right now, wonderful guy, is not retired, but is just totally disillusioned with the American civil court system for good reasons, and saw that it was not about truth and justice. It was all about money, and whoever could hire the highest, profile attorneys. Quit his law practice and started an online service where you can essentially be your own lawyer with this organization backing you up, offering you counseling, being right there behind you anytime you need them without legally representing you. As I assure you that attorneys don't want the word to get out that you can represent yourself and that you can win. But I assure you that you can. Here are 5 good reasons to represent yourself and be your own lawyer. Number 1, save thousands of dollars. Most attorneys today charge a whopping $300 to $500 an hour, plus all the extra bells and whistles. Processing fees, filing fees, paralegal fees, parking fees. You hire an attorney today, you may as well give the guy your checkbook. And unfortunately, many of these wonderful professionals are well known for ripping off their own clients by padding their bills. If you can believe this, I once had an attorney who had the audacity to try and charge me a full hour of his time because I wanted to discuss the obvious overcharges that he'd sneaked onto my bill. Unbelievable. If you and I treated our customers that way, we'd starve to death. Number 2 reason to be your own lawyer. Break the monopoly attorneys have on the American civil court system. Attorneys act with such arrogance and charge the exorbitant, outlandish fees they do because they think they have a monopoly on the civil court system. Most politicians and lawmakers are attorneys, and I'm fully convinced that they intentionally write the laws in this bizarre foreign language that you and I can't understand just to keep us out of the system. On top of that, even the supposedly impartial judges are attorneys. So in civil court, you've got this good old boy system that has very little to do with truth and justice. It's about money and power. Most of the judges, I'm fully convinced, are more concerned with procedure and following this long list of ridiculous rules, and most of the attorneys just want to fill their bank accounts. What happens? As usual, the little guy, that's you and me, gets screwed. Number 3 reason to be your own lawyer. Control your own fate. When you hire an attorney, you essentially place your fate in a total stranger's hands. You know, an attorney doesn't have to ask your permission for everything that he does. And a lot of times they intentionally keep you out of the loop so you don't know what's going on. And unless you've dealt with this person before, you haven't the slightest idea what you're going to get for your money until it's too late. Unlike most businessmen, attorneys don't offer any kind of guaranteed service. They take little responsibility for the quality of their work, and a lot of them stop answering your calls and emails as soon as your check clears the bank. Unlike the criminal court system, where you get an attorney if you can't afford one, which at least it makes an attempt to level the playing field, right? Well, if you're sued in civil court or you want to sue someone else and you can't afford an attorney, you're held hostage. You're at the total mercy of your opponent and the overly complex civil court system. And most of the time, you're up a creek without a paddle, and the other guy knows that, which is probably the main reason he filed the lawsuit to begin with, to try and use his money and the totally lopsided civil court system to beat you down, roll over you, and push you out of his way. Well, now you can fight back like a professional because you can tap into a network, global network of highly skilled, seasoned attorneys who actually care about the outcome of your case and aren't going to bankrupt you in the process of defending you or helping you file a lawsuit. Fourth reason to be your own lawyer. You can monitor your case day by day. If you decide to be your own lawyer, you get to deal with legal professionals all over the world who are always available and only charge you just for the time and the advice that you need. Sadly, most attorneys today look at their own clients as nothing but a cash delivery system. And in many cases, they intentionally work the plaintiffs and the defendants against each other just to keep the combative fires burning so they can rack up more billable hours. That's what it's all about these days, the legal profession. Billable hours, billable hours, billable hours. Here's one of my all-time favorite quotes concerning our American civil court system. And this comes from Chief Justice Warren Burger, U.S. Supreme Court, who once said, 75 to 90% of all trial lawyers are incompetent, dishonest, or both. Can you believe it? And that's coming from another attorney. I mean, question, you really want one of these overpriced boneheads representing you in court? Well, now, by learning how to be your own lawyer, you can fight back just like the pros with the backup and support of qualified professionals from all around the world, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. And number 5, reason why you should be your own lawyer. Because yes, you can win. Especially if you know you're right. You know, that's the biggest thing. If you know you're right, then you should pursue this with everything that you have. The biggest advantage, of course, is getting a free initial consultation to see if you even have a case. And that's where it starts. From there on, a seasoned professional will take you through the process step by step, and only charging you for the time and assistance that you need, yet always being there in the background when you need them. So if you're involved in any kind of court action, civil court action specifically, I think you should seriously think about representing yourself and dealing with, learn how to be your own lawyer. For contact information, look in the description below. And stay tuned for part 2. We're actually going to go through a lawsuit that I'm involved in step by step and show you how it's done. Thanks for watching.